Hey FLOSSTUBE, it's Leigh from Creative Leigh on Christmas Eve 2023, the 24th of December, with FLOSSTUBE number 205. Welcome back to my almost always weekly YouTube channel about counted cross stitch and random stuff, but mostly counted cross stitch. Yeah, it is Christmas Eve, yay. I'm already at that stage of my sort of, 16-day vacation with what day is it? Why am I here? Who am I? I've already kind of lost track of what day of the week it is. It's Sunday, but yeah, already I'm just like, turn off my alarm, don't care what I'm doing, not running to any timetable, just been pretty random with what I do and what I feel like. Which is great. So yeah, I am expecting a chill day. It's 10:25 Sunday morning. I'm going to get my video done, get it up early-ish for you folks to have something to enjoy, and I'm not planning to do much of anything today. That is great. I'm going to have a very quiet day tomorrow, probably pop around, visit with a few people, just not for meals per se, but just stop in for a coffee or a wine or what have you. I'm really quite looking forward to a quiet day. And Dad as well, Dad's doing good. He also has probably planned a quiet day. He has a couple of invites like I do, but he's of the same feeling that this year he just wants to have a quiet one at home. If he wants to go and visit people for a cup of tea and a piece of Christmas cake or whatever he will. I am got a huge stack of books from the library, bunch of ebooks, I still have an emergency TBR pile at home of books that I really, they're for my retirement. I've got plenty to read and looking forward to that. I think that's it really. Yeah, should we talk about some stitching stuff? Okay. I do have something new to show you. Purchased the beginning of the month, but they only arrived yesterday. So when I was with my stitchy buddies for the Jingle Ball weekend, there was a little bit of online shopping done across the group, but Judith had a couple of Christmas ornaments that she had bought previously from an Etsy shop, and they're the little wooden blanks, and you get the designs and you can fill them in, and they were like such good quality, and we were all very impressed. A bunch of us were. So next minute we decided to put an order in between three of us, so Anne, Judith and me, and pay one lot of shipping. Now it's a Ukraine based business, but I believe they ship out of the EU, so I think France, or I think these came from France. And the shop is called Happy Stitching Time on Etsy. Very affordable. They're shipping, even though we ordered a pile between us of these wooden ornament blanks. And the shipping was sort of a fixed shipping amount. And I think we ordered them the 3rd of December, and they arrived and got them yesterday. So, and I happened to be over that side of Wellington. I was in Johnsonville, which is 2 kilometers down the road. So she'd posted online that we'd received this bunch. So I checked she was home, whipped up the road and picked them up. So I've got them to show you. So there's a whole heap. They have many blanks, very good quality, recommend them, pretty affordable shipping. So I'll show you the ones that I got. So they send you the patterns, the charts digitally, and then you get the blanks in the mail. So for someone who doesn't do Christmas, I do like Christmas ornaments, especially especially non-traditional ornaments. Doesn't matter. So I've screenshotted the designs on Etsy. So I've got 3 different nutcrackers. So there's 6 designs on this picture that I've taken, but the 3 nutcrackers, they're all slightly different shapes. And the wooden blanks are really nice quality laser cut plywood. And yeah, as I said, Judith has them before she stitched them, and they're lovely. So I would just finish them probably with a card back or maybe some felt. but the 3 different Nutcrackers designs that they had, not sure which way around he goes, I haven't got the picture in front of me, so they wouldn't take long to whip up. They're all charted for DMC, obviously full cross, because hello, can't do a quarter cross through a piece of wood. And then also the set of 4 Matryoshka dolls or Russian dolls, and you get the 4 different sizes. So if you are purchasing, oh, they smell like wood. If you are purchasing these, just take note that it'll say like from $3 or something New Zealand. That's for one. When you go into the purchase box, selection box, you can do like, you know, the small, medium, large, extra large individually. You can buy multiples of them, or you can go down and there's a set of 4. So the set of 4 was like $12 or $16. I don't know how much it was, didn't really matter. So I got that. That's all I got. I wasn't crazy. Let's just say the others may have purchased quite a lot. These I bought for me. 2 of each we do for my tree that isn't up, but that's okay because I just didn't feel like it this year. But yeah, so it's kind of cool to get those. I don't know when I'll stitch them, but again, the quality of the laser cutting is really excellent. So highly recommend. Get together with a couple of friends if you like Christmas ornaments and things, and order yourself a bunch of blanks. Really easy finishing. So that's all that's new in. I have quite a bit of stitching to show you, yay. So first of all, I've talked about for the last few weeks some secret stitching. Now, basically, I had intended to stitch and fully finish an ornament each for the 5 of the gals that I did the Jingle Ball weekend with. And I got most of the stitching done, except I stitched a couple of things too close together and that I didn't leave room for finishing. So I actually had to stitch 7 of the ornaments, but to finish 5, because I stitched the same design 5 times. And then I underestimated how much finishing time I needed. So I was trying to get them finished to give to the gals, and I was just like, I only started stitching them the week before when Dad was here. So basically, I got the stitching done because I'm a fast stitcher, but I am not a fast finisher. And then of course, so I didn't get them fully finished. And when I got home after I had finished my New Zealand flowers ball, I couldn't stitch for a couple of days because I'd hurt this forefinger, like the tendon, just from all the hand stitching and pulling quite hard. So this finger didn't work. And my fingers were a bit sore from handling the needle. So I couldn't even finish them until later that week. So anyway, I finally got them out to the girls. They all have them, so now I can show you. I stitched 5 of the, it's a freebie from Luminous Fiber Arts from a year or so ago, this little joy ornament. So I stitched it 7 times, but I finished it 5 times. And I just used, I needed a 32 count to fit in a 4-inch little bamboo hoop. So I stitched on 32 count fairy dust linen using a Victorian Motto sampler shop thread called Mrs Claus Red. I started the stitching on the 25th of November and I finished the fully finishing on the 10th of December. And so I have all 5 of them lined up here. I finished them all, as I said, in 4-inch bamboo hoops. And then I cut a 4-inch circle of mat board, wrapped some tartan fabric around, a buffalo check fabric around that, and I gathered that up with stitching, and I gathered up the back of the cross-stitchy piece with, so just a gather stitch around it. Glued that sucker on with a fabric glue, and held it together with clips, and they were pretty dry. I don't think they'll lift. And then I just got a nice tartan ribbon and created a loop for a hanging, and then tied a bow around using a fork and some manipulation and stuff, and then sort of put some stitches through to hold it together. So yeah, the finishing took me 2 movies to do all the sewing bits of this finishing. And then I didn't have enough clips to do 5 at once, so I had to glue a couple and then leave them, and it took probably a couple of hours to do all the gluing. So yay, I was really happy to get that done. I don't know that I'd do 5 of the same ornament again. I got my money's worth out of that freebie. So that's my secret stitching, 5 fully finishes. Okay, and then onto my stitching for the last week. So after I did my video on Sunday, I picked up my grandma's jewelry box sale. So I had the December brooch to stitch. This was all done on 32 count antique white linen from Zweigart, using mostly the call for GMC. There were the occasional substitutions when I was too lazy to go pull a thread from a project. I just found one similar, and I always used my own metallics and beads. Very rarely were they like the called for. I just used leftover stuff from a million Mirabilias over the years. So certainly my beads are often very different to the called for, and the metallics are quite different to the called for. Like, e.g., the beads might have been called for silver and I might have used blue, or they might have been called for gold and I might have used orange or brown or something. So where are we at? Where's the... Oh, here we go. So here is the December brooch. To be fair, this is probably the closest to the called for, because it did have gold beads and I did use gold beads. And the metallic was that Aventurine metallic Krenak, which I think has some greeny colours in it. So I did use the last of a spool of a number 4 Krenak that I had in a greeny goldy kind of thing. I used that metallic on quite a few of the charts. So yeah, that is December, which I absolutely love. And I did start stitching it when my friend Karen was here last Sunday, when we did a bit of stitching in the afternoon, and I finished it that night. So I had hoped to get, my ambitious goal at the beginning of the year was that I would have these fully finished as ornaments. 5 ornaments was enough for me this year, but I will get some cards. I'll probably get it cut so it's nice and smooth. Actually, I did okay cutting my own circles, so maybe I will cut it myself. But I will fully finish them, probably just, some of them was circles and some of them was squares, matte board, and I'll just cut 2 of each, back 1 in fabric, back 1 with the and then glue them together, or maybe put braid around them. So there's all 12, heaps of room for finishing. I didn't cock this one up when I decided to leave. And I did wonder, gosh, I've left some really big gaps, but no, having not left big enough gaps for those joy ornaments and having to stitch them 7 times, if I'd not finished them on the hoops, if I'd done a really close sort of stitch finish, it would have been okay. But you need a good couple of inches to work with hoops. Lesson for young players. I'm really happy with this. This was such a fun sale, and if she ever does another one, I'll definitely do it again. And then next up is my focus for the month, and I showed you this last week, where I needed to get 1 row of houses done, and then some beading instead of some French knots. This is the Gingerbread Village from It Takes a Village collection from Carolyn Manning Designs. This was start number 50 of 50 for my 50 at 50 last year, and I stitched this on 28 count Lugana in the colour Forget Me Not from Country Stitch, our local Kiwi Wellington based dyer, and I used a call for GMC, and again I just picked up I just found some beads. I think I had to buy 1 lot, but just some cheap beads from Lincraft. They had a sale, they were like $2.70 for a little vial. And then I found some other beads in my stash that were close enough. They don't need a lot of beads, so I wouldn't want to spend $10 on a pack of beads for 1 colour. You need like 8 of 1 colour. And here she is, finished. Yay! So there's not a lot of beading on there. There's some beads where the French knots would be. So on this house here, there's a row of beads along the roof. There's a few beads here on not that one, it's a bow. This Christmas tree has some kind of yellowy beads on. This house, there's a house with green beads on it. And where is the house with green beads on it? Oh, good grief. This house here has a row of green beads just along there. They're a bit more visible in person. And this little gateway thing, what do you call it? Arch has some holly with the beads, holly leaves, the beads and stuff. So there's a few little beads. I'm really happy with it. I'm really pleased to get it finished. Got it finished within the year. Got it finished in December. So nice to finish the year with a couple of finishes that met some goals. I didn't meet all of my goals. I'll recap that probably in the new year. But yay for that. Then next project I picked up was the Nora Corbett Gigi from the 3 Bewitching pixies. Oh, sorry, one of the Bewitching pixies. She's my third. I'm only stitching 3 of these this series, and this is on. They're all 3 were on 32 count Vintage Country Mocha from Zweigart, using mostly the called for DMC, and I will use the called for beads. I did change her skin color up. I actually stitched her skin, most of her skin 3 times, because I picked a really nice sort of more, I guess more mockery kind of, I wanted to make her a darker skinned witch, and I loved the colour, but not on this fabric. It just blended in. I mean, it's called Vintage Country Mocha, so stitching a mocha coloured skin on a mocha fabric just meant that she was like the invisible lady. And then I pulled that out after I did most of her arm, and then I started stitching her again, and I got all my counting wrong. I missed a couple of rows and ended up with her arm far away from her armpit. Pulled it out again, and then so it's one of the called for, and then I went one shade darker. So when I looked up Lord Liberton's skin tones, the called for 2 skin tones, I went to the next box over. So she's a little bit more tan than the called for. And other than that, it's all called for. All the stitching's done. All I've got to do is the beading, and as talked about previously, I'm going to do the beading on New Year's Eve with Judith. I started Gigi on the 31st of December 2022, and I will finish her beading on the 31st of December 2023. So yeah, she's ready to go. I think Judith's taken Gigi away with her on her Christmas break, and she's aiming to get to a similar state. So we're both going to stitch our Gigi's on New Year's Eve, and then she will be my last finish for 2023, and that will be a nice way to finish that up. So that's all ready to go. Drink of water. Blah, blah, blah. I feel like I'm on turbo today. And then yesterday, after I got back from, I had coffee with a friend in Johnsonville. I was in Johnsonville, and then I went up to get my blanks. I had coffee with a friend. I had a couple of library books to pick up from reserve. They had reserved and had come in from the Johnsonville library. So blah, blah, blah. And then by the time I got home and did a little bit of whatever I had to do around the house, I picked up Crowns of the Kingdom, and I hadn't stitched on this for a couple of months, I think. So needed a little bit of love. Crowns of the Kingdom, I started on the 25th of September 2022 as on our Queen Elizabeth II Memorial Day here in New Zealand, and I'm stitching her slowly as a long sail with Suzie Lambert here in New Zealand. Mine is all called for. She is stitching hers with random stuff from her stash, which is and she's adding charms and things. It's quite fun. So this is from Rosewood Manor, and on 32 count antique white linen, using all the called for Petite Treasure Braids, and this was start number 38 of 50 for my 50 at 50. I did 7 crowns, I think. So every time I pick this up, I aim to do at least 5 crowns. And this is where we're at. So I worked, I'll show you that for the screen grab maybe. And I worked over here on this side, And the new crowns are, so I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then I've put in, some of you may recall, I was missing one of the eyelets on the silver crowns. I put that in as well. So working my way around, this middle motif has a whole bunch of errors, so I can't count off of that. I have to count, but everything else around it's pretty accurate. So yeah, those 7 got in, and the middle is still, I'm intending to do something like the QE2, like 70 years or something in here but I'll leave that right for the end. The chart just has a gold crown in there, so it'll be a similar sort of crown maybe, or I'll put, yeah, the from and the 2, like the 22 and the whatever, take off 70 is, there for the years. Yes, I'm not sure, but I don't know, I may not do that. I may just personalize it there. Who knows what I'll do. So working my way up. So what we've done, these ones here, and we're across here. So kind of still over a third to go. Will I finish it next year? I don't know. I'm not sure I'm going to set that many goals for next year. I don't know. Doesn't really matter. Every X is an X, right? And then after I did those 7 crowns, I couldn't decide whether to carry on going up or come over to the other side, so I decided it was time to put it away. And then I felt like doing something different, so I picked up one of my hashtag stash sampler samplers, so the red and the black 2 from Prairie Moon. So I picked this one up, and this is on 36 count grandpa's sleeve from XJu Designs, and using SILKS4U for the black PR070, and then I'm using a Victorian Motto Sampler Shop red from the Fabulous Red collection, one of my many reds, for the red accents. And this was started back on the 23rd of September. So since you last saw it, here's the big ass piece of fabric. So this is the same fabric and the same silk I used for the red and the black one. I used a different red, Victorian Motto red, for the red bits though. And since you last saw it, it doesn't show up the red. In person, the red's really quite bold, but what I see, it's not very bold, but sometimes when I look back on the actual video, I'm like, okay, I did pick it up. So all of this inside of the box, so the box was done last time in that alpha, all of this is new. And I'm leaving this, there is a little bit of stitching I've left here. Probably I'm gonna put my initials and the year I finished, hopefully 2024 in there. So I'm just gonna leave them. I probably would just backstitch them. I had spent some time finagling and charting some different kind of gothic options to do my lettering, but they're all too big. This is over 1, it still doesn't fit, and that's too wide for, and I can't find anywhere on the chart that would suit me doing the personalization that big. The red and the black one I found easier to squeeze in some initials, but if I backstitch the initials, there's plenty of room for me if I take 7 sort of threads wide and 2 stitches high, so 7 stitches high by, I think I've got 13 stitches wide in there. I can fit in my LAM in 2024 in there. So I'm just gonna leave that little box. I can always come back and put the stitching in if I decide not to. But on number 1, I backstitched the personalization. So because they're kind of a companion set, I want to do that. But yeah, so that's kind of, it's actually quite a lot of stitching in that bit. Where are we at? We're kind of a third done, which is, I feel like I've got so much to do, but actually I'm a third done, and I think this is only about 4 days worth of stitching, 4 or 5. I might have only done 4 days. My intention when I started that challenge was to try and do 5 days stitching on each of these 8 or 9 samplers, and I think this was the only one that might only be 4 days. I'm probably going to leave it at 4 days because it's a nice place to finish, and anything else I start, I don't know, maybe I'll get these 2 done because there's 4 of these. So if I do 2 now and then have a break, you know, and then next time I pick it up, it'll be like, oh, there's only 2 to do, because it is very symmetrical and there's a lot of repeat, which I don't really care about. I mean, I just stitched 5 joy ornaments, and I know some people are like, oh, I don't like doing repeats, but for me, every X is a repeat. So, like, if you don't like repeats, how do you like cross-stitching? Because it's an X. And I don't care if it's a big patch of white X's, it's just a big patch of X's, right? I don't know, I'm random. But, I don't know, maybe I'll keep this out and stitch a couple more of those boxes this week. But the only other sampler that definitely I want to do something else on will be the Jeanette Douglas, this year, will be the Jeanette Douglas, the Common Thread 2. I kind of feel like it did get 5 days, but I might see if I can do one more motif on that this week. I don't know. We'll see what happens. When I say this week, I'm going away on Boxing Day, and I won't be back until like probably the 30th, because I'll probably stay with my friend Mark in Palmerston North on the way back. So maybe I'll get there on the 29th, stay the night. He doesn't know this yet, but it'll be fine. It's only like an hour 45 down the road, so if I decide not to stay, I can just come home. I can easily have dinner with him and then leave at like 10 o'clock and get home by midnight. Like, it's not that big a deal. What the hell was I talking about? Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, I'm going to be away, so I will take a project or 2 with me, but I'm probably not going to get that much stitching done. I don't know. Who knows what will happen? So I'll take you always got to take some projects with you in a couple of books, because if you don't stitch, you don't read them, it doesn't matter. But if you find you've got some downtime and could have and don't have it, that'll be really frustrating. So I keep talking about what I might get done this week, but really I mean tomorrow. I mean today or tomorrow. We'll see. Maybe Jeanette Douglas might get some love in the new year. I don't know. She has had 5 days, I'm pretty sure. I think it took me 2 days or 3 days to do that by Jello stitch. I don't remember. So there was quite a lot of stitching. So I feel like finishing the year with a hiss and a roar, which is really good. A couple of finishes. Geared up for Gigi to be my last finish. I have had a lot of finishes this year. Now, to be fair, I've done quite a few small things, like the ornaments were quite small, like 2 hours, I think, to stitch each of those the stitching. And I've stitched, a mermaid, shouldn't take that long. I had quite a few little starts and finishes. So I am going to do a normal floss tube next week, so probably in the morning of New Year's Eve. I'll get up and just cover any of the stitching that I've done during the week, which probably won't be that much, so it might be a shorter video. And then I will probably on New Year's Day or the day after New Year's, I'll put up my annual finish parade. I have over 50 finishes this year. She's gonna be a big one, so just giving you a heads up. You might want to book some time out to watch that. It's going to take me hours and hours to record it, so just keep that in mind. That I actually really love doing my finish parade, because it's one place I can go to go, what did I do? I can go back to that video and go, oh yeah, that's what I finished that year, right? And I know lots of people enjoy that. I know lots of people don't care, which is why I do it as an extra video. But it does take me hours and hours to do, because I type everything up into PowerPoint with all the finishing details or whatever, and then because again, it's for my record as much as for your consumption. And then even though I already have cards and I have it in a spreadsheet, but it's one place to go. And then I screenshot that, and then I save that, and then I pull that into the video. So each time I show you something, I can then put up essentially a digital version of my messy cards. I'm exhausted. So what am I talking about? Oh yeah, so I will be doing that finish parade. I usually do a whip parade. I don't know. Do you want a whip parade? I've got a few whips that didn't even get touched this year, and they haven't been, or they got barely touched this year. And I don't know why. I'm like, why bother showing you? Nothing happened. But I do also like the whip parade as a record, so maybe I will do it. The finish parade will be my priority, but I also have like the record number of whips this year, I think. I started the year with, I want to say 19, and I'm finishing the year with, I think, 25. So she grew, and yeah, I didn't touch like 3, which is like, ugh. But I got too much. I guess the one thing about doing the whip parade is it does kind of remind me where I'm at. I can kind of loosely set some goals, or prioritize a couple of things. I want to finish the year with less whips. So I don't want to start as many things this year, or if I finish 2 things, I'll allow myself a new start, so slowly decrease. And I don't count start and finishes, so if I've still got one mermaid kitted up, if I finish her, start and finish her, I don't count. They're like little palette cleansers for me, where you're working on a big project, you kind of go, I just want something like a little sense of achievement. Often like little starts and finishes are pretty, or they might have some bling or whatever, or just some randomness. So I probably will do a whip parade, but I'll do my finish parade first, because it's kind of like, everything eventually gets in a finish parade. And that will take me, it does take me hours, like easily 5 hours to do my finish parade. So I probably should start that ahead of time, because I know what most of it is. And other than that, I just want to say thanks to everybody for your support, especially with, been some challenging times this year. I've struggled with my health and my general wellness, especially with ongoing frickin' joint issues. My back went out 3 times, all in different places, which is new. I had an Achilles injury for most of the year that was getting me down. Some other joint stuff going on, and then a cold, a flu, and COVID, a couple of bereavements. It's been like quite a dumpster fire of a year in some cases, but one thing constant has been support and friendship from both my stitchy buddies in person, the people that I know and love and who I've met through social media. Like, I didn't know any of my stitchy buddies apart from Karen, who I work with, and she got back into stitching because of me, so yay for enablers. But also, you folks online, I'm looking forward to meeting a couple of you over the holidays when I'm in Taranaki. And just the support, kindness, the occasional coffee I've had bought for me, which I really appreciate, especially when I take 5 hours to do a finish parade. I do feel it's nice to get the occasional coffee. But your comments, cards, little stitchy kindness, friendship, support, all that stuff is just super appreciated. And I wouldn't do these videos, I don't do the videos for that stuff. I do the videos mostly for me. It's like a little what happened this week. I can watch back and go, wow, Leigh, you need to have a facial, or you're looking tired, or you're looking stressed. So, and it becomes a record of, I don't know, just a little record for me, really. I wouldn't do this if I wasn't getting something out of it, but I'm really happy that you all appreciate it as well. So have a lovely festive season. Enjoy Christmas. Look after your livers, especially you Kiwi girls. Don't drink too much. And wear sunscreen. We're in the southern hemisphere, and it is in theory it's going to be sunny. I'm squinting because it's a very grey light, and I'm not good with grey light, so I need to go in and get away from the windows. But yeah, take care, and I will see you next week on New Year's Eve, and a couple of times that week with my once a year parades. As always, don't let your needles rust. Ciao.